speaker is Honorable Anika Felician, Shadow Minister of Social Cohesion. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If you build the guts to do something, anything, then you better save enough guts to face those consequences. Quote by American poet, writer, and philosopher, Mr. Chris Jami. I rise this afternoon to support the motion that there should be a combined approach to discipline in secondary schools. That is, the utilization of both positive discipline and corporal punishment. I do believe corporal punishment should not be phased out completely. As the Shadow Minister of Social Cohesion, I will examine how children learn to associate positive actions with rewards and negative actions with discipline, be it positive or negative, through the use of Ivan Pavlov's classical conditioning theory. From time immemorial, the concept of discipline in the West Indian society is different from that of other societies. It is important to note that discipline is cultural relative and culturally determined. In Guyana, corporal punishment is not new to our secondary school system and is deemed acceptable by even the Ministry of Education to be administered in certain instances, namely if it involves self-defense, preservation of order, and restraining a learner from an act of wrong, and the like. Honorable Speaker, at this point in my speech, allow me to redirect your attention to the aforementioned Russian psychologist, Mr. Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov is famous for creating his theory. He came up with this theory by conducting an experiment with dogs. He noted that every time the dogs saw humans with food, they began to salivate. It went to the extent of them salivating when they heard footsteps, merely because they associated humans approaching with food. Similarly, in the context of discipline and dealing with children, they learn to associate positive behaviors with positive reactions and negative behaviors with disciplinary actions. Honorable Speaker, please do not get me wrong. I am in no way calling the youth of Guyana, or anyone for that matter, dogs, because I'm certain that no one has four legs and surely they do not bark. Further, Honorable Speaker, as we're on this topic, permit me to make reference to one of the most powerful sources in the world, the Bible. The Bible shows that even our Heavenly Father uses a disciplinary approach and uses rewards for positive or good behavior. This is evident in Genesis 19, verse 17. The angel said, "Flee for your lives, and don't look back, and don't stop in the plains," verse 28. But Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. It is evident that being disobedient was her downfall, and it resulted in God punishing her to that extent. The reward for the rest of them being obedient was their lives being saved. It is also observed that no other family member became a pillar of salt because they were obedient. It may also be persuasively argued that the punishment that was faced by Lot's wife acted as a deterrent for them so that they didn't make the same mistake. Similarly, with a combined approach to discipline, the mere experience of others and the presence of corporal punishment will act as a deterrent. Deterrents are necessary, not just to maintain orders in schools, but to protect some students from themselves and ensure that the child is socialized. Honorable Speaker, if students are not disciplined, whether it be using the positive approach to discipline or corporal punishment, then they will go astray and eventually end up in serious problems that could land them in prison. Honorable Speaker, according to a Guyana Chronicle article dated July 21st, 2019, a total of 27 cases of young offenders were put before the court of law for crimes such as burglary, manslaughter, and even murder. Yes, murder. How did these young people get to this level of indiscipline? Is it possible that if these young offenders were exposed to corporal punishment earlier on in their life, they would not be on the streets wreaking havoc? Please permit me, Honorable Speaker, to give an example. Little Tommy likes to take away other people's property, and all his mother and teacher would say, "Don't do that, Tommy." Tommy continues to steal anyway. They continue to speak, but he does not change. Then they decide, in order to get Tommy to change, they will buy him whatever he wants. Still, little Tommy goes and continues to steal from others, and they continue to talk and counsel. Eventually, it does not work, and Tommy is getting worse and worse. Eventually, he sees someone with a fancy phone while walking on the road and decides he wants it. He snatches it. And lo and behold, little Tommy is before the court facing charges of robbery. Honorable Speaker, if little Tommy was given 2 lashes, just 2, the first time he took away someone's property, trust me, he would not have continued along that path, or even if his teacher had dealt him a little lash, just a few lashes. The only side of that court he would have been seeing is the outside of the court when passing by. Honorable Speaker, I am speaking on the topic discipline. Is it not fitting for me to practice discipline and take my seat now? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker